Hello, ASEA. My name's Hunter Dean. I'm the Senior Vice President of Production Operations here in Pleasant Grove, Utah, where we manufacture our products. I hope you're having an amazing event there in Spokane. Uh, I want to thank you on behalf of the corporate team for the passion that you have for ASEA's products that are life-changing, redox-based products that help people all around the world. Thank you so much for your dedication and your passion behind this technology and the products. I've been asked to share a little bit about the technology today. It'll be my pleasure to speak briefly on redox and what is redox and some of the studies that we're doing around the world. I'm super excited about where ASEA is. We are truly on the cutting edge of the technology, and we continue to learn more on how to leverage this redox technology to change lives. So I'm going to briefly share my screen here, and we'll go through a quick presentation um, discussing that. So here at ASEA, our vision from the very beginning has been to become the global leader in cellular health and redox-based technologies. From my seat on the bus, or my role here at ASEA, it's my opinion that we have achieved the position of being the global leader in redox-based technologies. So now the investment from ASEA is in solidifying our position and maintaining our position as the leader in redox around the globe. Now, anytime you're a leader in a space, there are responsibilities that come from being that leader. Um, Three main responsibilities that come to mind when I think about being the leader in redox are one, continue to advance the science of redox, push the envelope, make sure to move the ball forward as far as the science goes. Two would be to educate on redox. Redox is not a household name. There are a lot of people that don't understand what redox is. And so we as the leaders in redox have a responsibility to educate on what redox is and how it benefits people in many different ways. And then the third is to continue to produce, improve, and develop new products that leverage this redox technology that we know changes lives around the world. So these three responsibilities are what we focus on as far as the technology is concerned within our vision. I'd like to point to a few of the studies that are going on. This is a comprehensive map of all of the studies that we currently are that are undergoing with our partners around the world. ASEA partners with experts in respective fields of health and wellness. These researchers are independent and are amazed by some of the results that we're seeing. ASEA invests heavily in research every single year, and new partners are coming online every single year. Again, this is something that we invest heavily in to make sure that we're maintaining that position as leaders in the redox space. This is something we want to own, and ASEA invests heavily to make sure that we continue to be the leaders globally. Now, one of the things that every single one of us has been asked is what is redox? What are redox signaling molecules? What is cell signaling? How do you explain that in a way that is somewhat simple to understand? Last year, we launched a series of keywords that are designed to try and help explain how redox signaling works in the body and what are these redox signaling molecules actually doing. And it goes something like this. Redox signaling molecules are high energy, tiny molecules. Because they are so tiny, they can be absorbed directly into the cell. Once absorbed, they act like an on-off switch, turning on cellular signaling. Once a cell is turned on and is signaling, it begins to signal to the cells around it. Those cells signal to the cells around them, beginning what we call the cascade or domino effect. And it's that cascade or domino effect that contributes to our resilience to stress and our overall wellness. You may have been asked, what is redox? And a simple answer is, well, redox is a contraction of two words or an abbreviation of two words, reduction and oxidation. one of the quotes that I try and point to that illustrates the importance of redox or reduction and oxidation in life is the quote, "Life is nothing but electrons looking for a place to rest." That's one of my favorite quotes that illustrates the importance of redox in health and wellness. But what is an electron? If electron's looking for a place to rest, and that's so essential to redox, we need to understand a little bit what is an electron. An electron is an extremely small negatively charged particle. There's a ton of energy associated with these electrons that are moving around atoms and molecules. And this concept of redox is intertwined with electron transfer, meaning electrons are not shared between different species, rather they are transferred from one to the other. That is the definition of redox, is the transfer of electrons. Now, if electrons are transferred in redox and electrons hold a high level of energy, then it can be thought of as electron transfer is the transfer of energy. So when we think about redox is the transfer of electrons, and the electrons possess a high level of energy, we can very much think of redox as a transfer of energy. Now, this is important because what happens is when these redox signaling molecules, which are native to your body, created by the mitochondria of your cells, when these are introduced into your cell and absorbed because they are so tiny, these high energy molecules donate their energy to the cell. And what that does is that cell will begin to signal to the cells around it. And what that does is it allows the cells and allows your body at the cellular level to respond to stress. Your body's response to stress is one of the most important things that your body can do to maintain its health and wellness. If you cannot respond to stress, you cannot maintain your health. And so one of the things that I will often point to is this example of a balance or a seesaw. Imagine I'm standing in the middle of this seesaw, and in order to maintain my health and wellness, I need to remain in the center. Now, we as human beings in our world today are exposed to different physical stressors thousands of times a day. Meaning, I go outside, I'm exposed to the sun's rays. That is a form of stress. If I eat overly processed food, that is a form of stress. If I contract an illness, that is a form of stress. We are exposed to these different stressors at different varying levels thousands of times a day. And so, what is central to your health and wellness is your ability to respond to that stress and get back to balance, get back to what we call redox homeostasis or redox balance. So here's an example that illustrates this concept. Is I'm standing here in the middle of the seesaw and I'm exposed to some airborne pathogen, maybe the flu or the cold or an illness, or perhaps I go outside and I get a sunburn. That is a form of stress. That stress knocks me off balance. I'm now off center on that redox seesaw. What I have to do now is I have to respond to that stress and get back to center. This step is central to your health and wellness. And where it ties into redox is your body uses redox signaling molecules to respond to stress. The very same redox signaling molecules created within your cells, within the mitochondria of your cells, and the exact signaling molecules found in the ASEA Redox supplement are what your body uses to respond to the thousands of points of stress that we are exposed to daily. And it uses these redox signaling molecules to get back to center, to get back to balance. And it is this balance that helps you maintain your health and wellness. Now, the reason I talk about a resilience to stress is that there are several mechanisms in the body that are signaled because of redox signaling molecules that facilitate a resilience to stress, that help you be more resilient to stress and inflammation. One of those pathways is called the NRF2 pathway. And this NRF2 pathway is what's called a master switch, meaning it's a giant on-off switch. Remember the keyword on-off, turning on and off cell signaling. The NRF2 pathway is one of the main pathways that your body has to respond to stress oxidative stress, and inflammation. So, if maintaining your health and wellness revolves around responding to stress, and the NRF2 pathway is one of the principal tools that your body has to respond to stress, then the NRF2 pathway itself is an extremely important topic to cover when talking about health and wellness. So, what we found was that in researching with partners at the University of Bath and Western Sydney University in Australia, was that these redox signaling molecules, again found in your cells natively, as well as the products that we offer at ASEA, have a drastic effect on your body's ability to utilize the NRF2 pathway to combat stress and inflammation. And this is kind of an illustration of how NRF2 works in the cell. Now, again, you don't have to understand all of this, but this is for those of you who really want to take a deep dive and understand how NRF2 works. This is the inside of a cell. Every cell has a nucleus. And in order for NRF2 to create a benefit in the body, it has to make its way to the nucleus. But NRF2 cannot move while bound to this molecule called KEAP1. What happens is a redox signaling molecule will go into the cell and it will donate its energy. Remember, these are tiny, high energy molecules. Because they're high energy, they're able to donate their energy. When that redox signaling molecule donates its energy, it's like billiard balls, knocking NRF2 off of KEAP1. NRF2 is then free to move to the nucleus. Once NRF2 goes to the nucleus, a compound called glutathione is created. And that glutathione is released out to the body to address any inflammation or oxidative stress. Think of glutathione like a bodyguard for your cells. It's able to protect the cells from those stressors that we're exposed to every single day. Now, let's look at this mechanism through the lens of the keywords that we talked about. Redox signaling molecule enters the cell. That is a tiny, high-energy molecule absorbed into the cell. This separation of NRF2 and KEAP1 is the on-off switch. This is a tiny high-energy molecule absorbed into the cell, donating its energy, flipping a switch, allowing NRF2 to go to the nucleus. Once NRF2 goes to the nucleus, the protective protein, that bodyguard for your cells, glutathione, is created. That glutathione going out to the body is a cascade effect supporting your resilience to stress. Now, the concept that we are leveraging with this technology is, what if rather than simply leaving your body to its own devices to create its own redox signaling molecules, what if we could supplement with redox signaling molecules, both topically and ingestively? That is the concept with the ASEA Redox supplement and Renew 28. We are adding the number of redox signaling molecules to your cells. And in the case of NRF2, more redox signaling molecules in the cell means more NRF2 going to the nucleus, which, you guessed it, means more glutathione being produced. Again, those protective proteins, those bodyguards for the cell, going out to the body to reduce stress and inflammation. Here are some of the results that we got from Bath. The top row here is the untreated control. You have the dark field on the left, which is the blank. The green column here is the NRF2 proteins. Those green blobs you saw in the previous slide here, that is representative of this green color that you see. The blue is a nucleus. So these are multiple cells within this picture here. And on the top, you have the untreated control, and on the bottom, you have Renew 28. The rightmost image is the two other images superimposed on each other. They're laid over the top of each other. And what you notice is that the green is concentrated around the blue nucleus when treated with Renew 28. What is that? That is NRF2 translocating or moving to the nucleus so that glutathione can be produced. This is a landmark study for ASEA. And the reason I say that is this is the first time that ASEA has had visual evidence of a mechanism of action in the body, meaning we have visual proof that this product has a beneficial result in regards to NRF2 activity in your cells, meaning your cells become more resilient to stress when exposed to the redox signaling molecules in Renew 28. Now, we talked about how when NRF2 goes to the nucleus more often, you should see an increase in glutathione, right? And that's exactly what we saw. We saw in both compromised and healthy cells that glutathione levels were increased by 40 to 55%. Again, these are huge numbers. When you talk about glutathione being one of the principal compounds that protects your cells from stress, and we know that resilience to stress is central to health and wellness, glutathione increase of 40 to 55% using compounds that are native to the body, stimulating the NRF2 pathway in a way that is 100% natural, and how it is done natively in the body is an amazing, amazing outcome. With Western Sydney University, we found similar results with the ASEA Redox supplement. We saw an NRF2 activation of up to 60% over baseline. What that means is once you stimulate NRF2, the protective proteins are produced, and that helps buffer or strengthen your resilience to stress. So as a summary, what does this mean for me? You know, if you're one of those people out there that wants to know that the science is real, and it absolutely is, but really kind of just wants the benefit. The summary is NRF2 is the master switch that helps to combat oxidative stress and inflammation in the body. Simply put, if you increase NRF2 activity, you increase your body's ability to respond to stress and inflammation. NRF2, when stimulated, creates protective proteins, bodyguards for your cell. This is that glutathione protein that acts to protect cells in the body. In both of our studies, Western Sydney University as well as the University of Bath in England found that NRF2 pathway was upregulated by up to 60% when exposed to redox signaling molecules found in ASEA Redox supplement and Renew 28. And these studies represent a breakthrough in that this is the first time that ASEA has had visual evidence or physical evidence of a mechanism of action in the body. Let's take a practical application of NRF2 and how it can benefit people around the world, and the supplementation of redox signaling molecules and how they benefit the NRF2 pathway and how that can be useful to all of us. There's a concept called inflammaging. And this concept is that as we age, there are key inflammatory markers in our blood and our urine in many different tests that begin to rise, that show increased level of inflammation in the body as a consequence of aging. There have been billions of dollars in the industry spent working to address the health challenges that result from these elevated levels of inflammation, meaning these elevated levels of inflammation lead to specific health challenges. And the industry has largely looked at treating the consequences rather than the cause. What is it that causes the inflammatory rise? Here we have a network of cells that are signaling. They are communicating to each other and are therefore working effectively as they should. But what happens as we age, the cellular communication breaks down, and we have fewer and fewer communication pathways, if you would like to think about it that way. As we age further, there's a further breakdown. And this reduced communication is what causes inflammatory markers to rise. So while billions have been spent looking to treat the downstream problems that come from reduced cellular communication, very little has been done to address the cause of the problem, and that's a breakdown in cellular communication. Through our redox technology and our products that leverage redox signaling molecules, we can reinstate communication between cells and address downstream health challenges that come from a breakdown in cellular communication. It can be thought of like this. There are products out there that look at treating a specific pathway in the body or a specific health challenge. For example, a company may come out and say, hey, we're going to really build a product that treats and works to combat inflammation. Another company is going to come along and say, hey, we're going to own neuroprotection and cognitive function. Another product may come out and be extremely effective at detoxing the body. You have anti-aging products that are all over the industry. You have products aimed at longevity, extending life and health span. These products, while effective and while beneficial, play one key on the keyboard. I like to think of health and wellness as a beautiful piece of music. There are complex melodies being played, different chords and notes, all working in harmony to maintain your health and wellness. Now, while one key is important to that musical piece sounding as good as it can, one note is not the entire story. What is unique about redox signaling molecules is because they are native to the body, because they are working at the cellular level, redox signaling molecules are capable of playing the entire keyboard. They're capable of contributing to your health and wellness along every single key necessary to be played in that beautiful musical piece that we mentioned that is your health and wellness. This is a technology unlike any other. There is nobody else on the planet that has what ASEA has. We are the only players in this space that are capable of leveraging redox-based technologies to offer products that contain redox signaling molecules that are the very same made within your cells. This is a very exciting time for ASEA. We continue to invest in our research with global partners around the world. We are committed to our vision, to maintaining our position as the recognized global leader in cellular health and redox-based technologies. I am so grateful for your passion around this technology. It is great to be able to see the benefit that people have from these products. And I thank you for your passion and your willingness to share this amazing technology. Thank you so much for letting me speak to you today, and I wish you all the best. Have a great and amazing event there in Spokane. I wish to be with you. I can't make it this time, but on the next one, I will for sure be there. Thank you so much. Bye.